If you're trying to explore different ways people live these days, maybe get a real grip on housing options without drowning in info, well, you're in the right spot. We've just done a deep dive into tiny homes.
We really have. We looked at blog posts breaking down the pros and cons, watched YouTube videos showing off some wild designs, different takes on affordability, practicality.
And we even heard from a couple actually living the tiny life.
Yeah, their personal story.
So our mission today is pretty simple. Pull out the key stuff you need to know. What is a tiny home? Why do people want them? What are the catches, the costs? Are they really affordable, sustainable? Think of this as your shortcut through all the noise.
Your curated guide.
Exactly. Okay, let's get into it. First things first, what actually makes a home tiny?
Well, the general rule of thumb is 400 square feet or less, though you sometimes see that stretch to maybe 500 square feet.
Okay.
And they come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. Some are fixed, like on a proper foundation. Others are on wheels, totally mobile.
Right, like those little cabins, or I've even seen shipping containers turned into homes. Some of those YouTube ones are amazing, like that Coda Loft Micro, look like a super modern cube.
Exactly. And inside, they've all got the basics right. Living space, kitchen, usually pretty cleverly designed a bathroom, and often a sleeping loft to save floor space.
Space saving is key, I imagine. Lots of fold-down tables and built-in storage.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And often, because of why people choose them, you see a lot of eco-friendly features too.
So we're talking maybe 100 up to 400 square feet. Typically, it's pretty amazing how much they fit in. But why? What's the main appeal? Why go so small?
It's a mix of things, really. A huge one is financial freedom.
Hmm.
The upfront cost is just way lower than a traditional house.
Yeah, I saw numbers like what? $23,000, maybe up to $75,000 for the build. Though some fancy custom ones can go way higher, like over 150K.
True, but even that higher end is often a massive saving compared to buying a standard house. Less debt, basically.
And it's not just buying it, right? It's the running costs too. Lower bills for heating, electricity, water.
Definitely. Less space means less energy use, less maintenance. One article mentioned over 80% of tiny homeowners have less debt than the average American, mostly because they don't have that huge mortgage hanging over them.
Which connects to another big thing.
Precisely. And they often build in things like solar panels or composting toilets. Although, that couple pointed out, even with a composting toilet, you might still need a septic connection for your gray water sinks, shower water, depending on local rules.
Oh, okay. Good point. And what about flexibility? Some are on wheels, right?
Yeah, the mobility aspect is a big draw for some. You can potentially move your home. You have to think about towing laws like size limits. But the option's there.
And they can be used for different things too, not just full-time living. Guest houses, rentals, studios.
For sure. And the customization. Because they're often built custom, you can really tailor the layout and features to exactly what you want.
We saw some wild examples in that top fives video. Super modern, really rustic, all sorts.
Totally reflects the owner.
Yeah.
But, okay, while the designs are cool, we need to talk about the downsides. It's not all easy living, right?
Great. Let's flip the coin. What are the big challenges? I mean, the obvious one is it's tiny. Space.
That's number one, for sure. Just not much room for stuff, furniture, doing things. Storage is like a constant puzzle.
You need those clever solutions. Drawers under the bed, shelves everywhere, drawers in the stairs.
Yeah, we saw some amazing things. Murphy beds that flip down over a desk, coffee tables you can store stuff in. That couple talked about needing nookie places for storage.
Huh. Yeah. But even with tricks, it's still tight, which probably leads to other issues.
It can. Like privacy. If you're living with someone, you're always in close quarters. Hosting people can be tough too.
Yeah. Where do guests even sit, let alone stay?
Exactly. And then you get into the practical and kind of legal stuff.
The zoning laws? That came up again and again, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. That's a huge one. A lot of local rules just aren't set up for tiny homes. It makes it hard to find a place you can legally build one or park one.
So you might build this great little house and then nowhere to put it.
It can happen. Sometimes they're classed as travel trailers, which limits where you can live permanently. That couple ran into that city rules versus rural rules needing septic hookups.
Right, because they were technically a trailer.
Yeah. And getting permits, insurance, even financing. It can all be trickier or more expensive than for a standard house.
Sounds like a bureaucratic nightmare sometimes. And what about just living day to day in a small box?
Well, small spaces get messy fast. Staying organized takes effort. Smells linger. Noise travels. There's not much separation.
You probably have to give up some comforts too, right? Like maybe no bathtub, smaller appliances.
Often, yes. One woman on YouTube really missed her bathtub. And then there are potential costs you might not think about at first,
Hidden costs, like what?
like the land itself, buying or renting, utility hookups if you're not off grid, moving costs if it's mobile, and maybe more frequent maintenance on certain things.
That couple mentioned humidity and mold being an issue, needing good ventilation, like an HRV system.
Yeah, especially in certain climates. Condensation can be a real problem. And they use specific materials like formaldehyde-free plywood to manage sensitivities, which adds cost.
Wow. Okay, so definitely things to consider. Let's circle back to affordability. They're pitched as affordable. Are they, really?
It's complicated. Yes, the build cost can be way lower. You might save hundreds of thousands compared to getting a mortgage on a regular house.
Right. One source said the US average is around $67,000 for a tiny home, compared to a median US house price of what? $400,000? Seems like a no-brainer.
On the surface, yeah. But then you look at income needed. Like in California, maybe you need 130K income for that median house. So 67K looks amazing.
But is it affordable for someone on, say, median income or minimum wage?
Well, another analysis looked at that. Median U.S. income, maybe $78,000. The affordable house price based on standard lending rules is more like $235,000. So 67K is well within that,
Okay, so potentially mortgage-free for a median earner.
potentially. But if you're on the highest minimum wage, they use San Francisco's $18.67 center as an example. Your affordable home price drops to around $70,000.
So maybe just barely affordable even then before you...
Exactly. Before you add the cost of land, that's the kicker. Buying land or even renting a spot in a tiny home community can eat up those savings fast.
And utility hookups, moving costs.
All that stuff. So yeah, it can be affordable, especially maybe in dedicated communities where land is rented or as transitional housing. But it's not automatic. The structure cost is only part of the picture.
Got it. The context matters hugely. Okay, we talked about the space limits, but people get seriously creative making it work. What were some of the coolest solutions we saw?
Oh man, the ingenuity is fantastic. Multifunctional furniture is king. Sofa beds, chairs with storage inside, tables that fold completely flat.
Murphy beds seem popular, the ones that fold up and reveal a desk or shelves.
Totally.
Hmm.
And using vertical space, floating shelves, wall desks, anything to keep the floor clear.
Hidden storage too, right? Like in the stair.
Oh yeah, stair drawers, under the floor, under beds, built-in cabinets everywhere, ottomans you can store stuff in, benches,
And clever layouts, like combining rooms.
definitely. Maybe the dining table folds down from the wall in the living area. Mesh lofts that feel more open. Sliding pocket doors instead of swinging ones saves a surprising amount of space.
And just design tricks, like using light colors and mirrors.
Big time. Light palettes, mirrors make it feel bigger, brighter. Compact appliances are essential too. Those washer-dryer combos, small fridges, maybe just a 2-burner cooktop.
That top fives video had some really diverse examples. That super sleek steel cube one, the Coda Loft Micro.
Yeah, and Macy Miller's DIY one, she built for like under $12,000.
Incredible. And that Super Aero Carrot House in Poland. Wild.
Just shows the range, right? Different styles, different budgets. It's not one single thing.
So true. Okay. Beyond the physical stuff, hearing from people living it was really insightful. What did we take from their experiences?
Well, that couple, their motivation was clear, simpler life, less work. And they really thought through the design for their needs. Room for the dog, storage for specific hobbies, even needing an oven just for French fries.
Priorities. And they addressed health stuff too with the HRV system for air quality and careful material choices.
Yeah, which highlights how personal it is. But they also talked honestly about the struggles, the zoning headaches, the humidity and mold watch, getting insurance.
Right, that whole travel trailer classification causing issues with where they could park it legally, needing septic. And insurance was tough. They ended up insuring it as a mini home and had to hide the wheels with skirting.
It really shows the hoops you might have to jump through. The other person we heard from talked about financial freedom and less cleaning, which was great.
But also the flip side, like suddenly being responsible for all the home maintenance yourself and finding tradespeople who know how to work on tiny homes isn't always easy.
Good point. And it was interesting hearing about that politician, Svante Myrick, supporting small-scale living. Maybe shows a slow shift in thinking.
Possibly. Which brings us to the bigger picture. How do tiny homes fit into the whole housing market discussion?
Well, there's potential for them as accessory dwelling units, ADUs, like adding one in a backyard to increase housing density without huge new developments.
Makes sense. And maybe fills a gap. The market doesn't always offer many small, affordable options.
True. But for that to work well, cities and towns need to adapt their rules, their zoning, to actually allow tiny homes in communities more easily.
Seems like they could be a really good fit for certain people, young folks priced out, maybe retirees downsizing.
Definitely potential there. But as one source cautioned, they're probably not the single solution to the entire affordable housing crisis. More like one piece of the puzzle, a viable option for some.
So, wrapping this up, what are the main takeaways for someone thinking about this?
I'd say tiny homes offer a really interesting alternative. You get potential financial perks, a simpler lifestyle, maybe a lighter environmental impact, but, and it's a big but, you've got real challenges with space, tricky legal hurdles, and that affordability question isn't always simple once you factor in land and everything else.
Yeah, you've definitely walked us through a lot today, from what they are, the amazing designs, the appeal, but also the very real downsides and complexities. It's clear it's a very personal choice, balancing the dream with the practical stuff.
It really is. Which kind of leaves you wondering, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Given everything we've talked about, the designs, the stories, the debates, what needs to change in how we think about home or even community to really unlock the potential of tiny living in the bigger housing picture?
That's a great question to chew on. Maybe digging into your own local rules or seeing if there are any tiny house communities nearby could be a good next step for anyone curious.